Guess which era of Ozzy this is. Zakk Wylde then.
I'm on bass this time round.
You've got a lovely LTD
B4.
D-4.
Very, very nice.
Awesome, and sat really nicely in the mix with this
Sure.
LTD Deluxe EC-01FT. So we talked about what to talk about, and obviously there's lots to talk about with Zakk, but we also decided that the pairing of the instruments was important, you know, but the bass is absolutely rock steady in this kind of hard rock, bordering on heavy metal.
When you've got big,
rock,
obnoxious, distorted guitar riffs, you need to be conscious about what you're doing from the bass side of things. You want to reinforce that, but there's times where you need to step out of the way and leave room for things, or leave dynamic headroom. So that was a real clear, conscious effort with this track.
Yeah. When you picked the bass up, what was your approach?
Well, essentially I need to reinforce the main riffs. In different styles of music, bass takes different approaches, but obviously in rock and metal stuff, a lot of it is about, particularly when it's riff-based writing, how do you reinforce it and kind of pick out the important notes and align with that. There's points when I move away in the track and we'll discuss that, but if you give us the main riff initially, I'll talk about how the bass sits around that.
It's based around that, the E to the D and then the G.
Cool, so that's the foundation of what's going on. So that's the main figure that I'm working from. Every now and again I'm reaching up to that 5th fret. I'm getting those kind of movements in it, but
right.
I'm leaning more so into the, and not going to the G always, because I don't want to tread over what you're doing. And because you're doing variations, if I try and kind of fit with that too much, I'm not really giving you the option. I'm kind of pinning you to too many options. So by holding down the D to E part, and then sparingly going into the G, I give you a bit more playing room. So that's my approach there.
Okay, holding it down, you kind of that. It's a heartbeat, really, isn't it?
And you'll notice at the start of the track, that's the core of what's going on. But the start of the track, and there's a bit later on where that intro sequence loops around.
Right.
4 times is pretty much the structure to it. So instead of coming in straight away, to give it dynamic room, I sit back, I let you play 2, but because I know that's my figure, and I want it to have maximum impact, when I first play it, the great thing about being in drop D tuning, or any drop tuning, whatever you've got on your lowest string, you hop over your 3rd string and go to your 2nd string, and you've got the same things an octave higher. on the same
Yes,
frets.
that's
So
right.
on the third cycle of the phrase, where we get that step up before everything kind of kicks in and goes ballistic, I join, but I go for the octave higher.
So you're there, but the full impact comes.
When the last cycle,
Nice.
I go for the lower octave, so we really launch it and it kind of fires it into when the full rhythm section kicks in with the drums. So being strategic about holding back first, space is sometimes the best thing to play. If it's about getting dynamic headroom is nothing. Let another instrument hold it down. Pick your moment to join, but maybe go for a lighter dynamic, a lighter pick attack, or finger attack if you're playing fingers, but up to a higher register. And then when all the weight comes in, drop down to that lower register and go for it. The sound that we've gone for here is quite a rounded, warm tone.
Yeah.
But because I want to really lay in with the pick, that gives the brightness.
Yeah.
You know, you get the kind of a click to it from that, and that bright percussive attack. Now, if you EQ too brightly and pick hard, it starts to become a bit obnoxious, but an irritating top-endy obnoxious, and the lower weight falls out of it. So if you go for a slightly warmer tone and give it that headroom, and think about where you pick as well, because you get that bright, clicky sound
tight,
there.
isn't it?
So where you play along the string, it's like an EQ. It's really warm around here towards the neck, and you get like a middle push here, and it goes bright along there. So really think about where you want to pick. So if you want to get that bright sound, let the pick attack or finger attack do the talking, but think about where you play. And you can really place it in the mix.
Awesome. While you're punching along with that E note, I've got the option of playing these E and D chords, but also open D and open A. And I think that's the defining thing between where hard rock and heavy metal meet, isn't it, really, is power chords and open chords. So I've just basically used as a pattern for a section of the song.
For the verse, right?
For the verse,
so it kind of gives it a little bit more movement. It's got continuity from the intro. We recognise it, but that extra bit of movement gives it that kind of propulsion to move through these different sections or move into another section of the song after those chords. Yeah. So alongside that, similar kind of deal, really. I'm leaning into the. There's my D note. Open third string for the A. So I'm reinforcing the riff a couple of times, sitting on the stripped back version. Then following the chords.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I put in a classic Zakk motif, which is on the G and the D strings, and I'm basically playing the second fret, which sounds pretty moronic on its own, but
Pentatonic, right?
pentatonic. But when you put in this little nasty, and that is when you catch this string with the soft part of your thumb after the pick hit it, you get this squealy pentatonic.
Brush it.
Yeah, you brush it. And there's various points. And it takes time to be able to do it every time. You will annoy everyone in the house for about a month.
More than that.
Yeah.
Every household has gone through this, so your house is no different. So whoever lives there, they just got to deal with it, okay? You've got to put in the practice, you've got to get it every time, because that's when this becomes ultra cool. You never know quite what harmonic you're going to get each time, but you know you're going to get one.
Well, that's kind of cool, because that was what makes the part.
Keeps it alive,
Sometimes it's so random, and you might not get it every time, but you know, hey ho, you keep going. But there's also a point in the riff where I use it on the low string, and that is the big boy Zakk
killer
moment.
Zakk moment. Yeah,
that's it, and it's a very wide
slow
vibrato.
If you do any vibrato, but particularly when you just do stuff like this, if it's fast and thin, like quick, shaky, it sounds like you're really nervous or like you're trying to tune a radio. Neither are cool or metal. So the secret to any of this, to make it sound completely ballsy and intentional, wide vibrato, slow the speed down, take your time with it.
Your headstock's got to go as well, really.
Yeah, it's a whole arm movement,
isn't it? It is your body, yeah. So just go for it. That's the thing. So a chorus section, again, we're returning to the chords and this kind of D. It's actually like just a power chord, but voiced around an open D. And then to A, and you can catch the major third on that A if you want. It gives it a little bit of a lift for a chorus. And I'm actually playing that upper part of the power chord with little 2 fingers there. But you can. Probably don't want to catch the G, you don't want the minor note. Yeah. So I tend to lean towards that. But it depends how the part leads you, doesn't it, really?
And the cool thing with having those options, sometimes as guitar players we can feel really cornered to play a certain thing a fixed way, and that's the rules and you have to follow it. And sometimes in the moment when you play live, that can be really restricting. Yeah. So when you know you've got a couple of different ways to get to those notes, you can go with whatever feels best in the moment, and then you get flow or variety in how you're going to do it. And I think that's a great kind of option to know I could do it here, I could do it there, and just go with what feels right in the moment.
Yeah, it's where you land. I mean, if you're 4 fingers here, then that's probably the best way. But if you're on this ring finger here,
and the other thing, and with you do the open string one, it's a lot more visual.
Yeah,
so if you want to make part of the performance of what you're doing, or if you're doing a music video, whatever it's going to be, for socials, that could be your choice. Yeah.
It also, the tone is slightly different. You know,
Upstroke, right?
There is, and between these two, and you can hear a difference in brightness there. When you're tracking, you probably want to do the same thing each time. You can choose, but live,
whatever feels good.
Whatever feels good. So chorus chords are D, A, E. And then back to the riff.
Your pentatonic run down and your squealies.
Run. That's the construction.
Absolutely. So to support that from bass, previous sections I've intentionally been staying out of the way a little bit to give you a bit more playroom for fills and extras, and to give it some dynamic headspace. But chorus, where we want the full energy, this is where we need to be like a freight train smashing through everything. So here I'm reinforcing every part of the rhythm on the bass. So I'm keeping my D note on the 5th fret of the 3rd string, A on the open, E on the 2nd fret of your low 4th string, but rhythmically really staying with you. So and at the end of the phrase, go up the octave to give it that lift, because if we stay down here, I just stay there for both parts of that phrase. It just sounds like the energy just tails off a little bit. The interest just wanes for a moment. We don't want that. What we want to do is give it that lift, which means we want to hear the next cycle. It buys you another repeat, right?
It's like a comma rather than a full stop, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like just launches it round for another go, whereas if that wasn't there, it would just sound a little bit like, oh, we're just staying here. There's a few points in the track where notes repeat and I'll shoot up the octave, a bit like in the intro where we hit an A note, just to give it that launch before we move on again. So I'm doing that for there. In the end section where Pat goes to the C power chord to the D, here I go like pure bass player, just hold the 8th notes. Really drive that along. 2 bars of D, so this is where I go for the 2nd bar. Up the octave and give it that rhythm. Now this is
very cool.
Also intentional, because rhythmically there's more going on, but I consciously hold just that one note. Now the reason being is Pat's doing a fill here, there's fireworks, there's movement. Now if I play too many pitches as my rhythm gets busier, at some point we're going to clash and fight each other for the same kind of space. Now if I get busier rhythmically, but just stay on the one pitch, you've got a complete free reign. As long as you're on the key, you can do whatever over that note, right? So consciously there, I'm supporting harmonically, rhythmically and register-wise, but trying to give you as much space as possible for the fills.
Yeah.
you're soloing over that chorus section again.
Yeah.
So bass-wise, you kind of do the same deal as the chorus.
Yeah. It's E minor pentatonic, and that's kind of where I started with this. But again, this vibrato, which is like a key.
Turning the key in a lock. Yeah, the whole hand thing.
Yeah.
It's got to be a rotation of the hand, not shaky finger where it gets weak and intonation gets bad and things like that.
Exactly.
It's worth talking about how the thumb and the fingers below the one that's fretting the note are all part of the action. It's not just a one fingertip mechanism.
And I anchor my hand to the bottom of the neck as well, so you can get that kind of
you're really pivoting,
action.
aren't you, off the underside of the neck.
Yeah, exactly. Then comes a sequence run, and actually muting in guitar solos is something which is really part of Zakk's sound, is using this soft fleshy part of the hand that you would on rhythm guitar parts. And the idea is, so straight upper pentatonic scale, and basically ending on a, it's the top of an E arpeggio, really, and alternate picking as well. I mean, everything's picked, isn't it? He's not a legato player. Yeah. So this, you can move then one finger up, and the great thing about this movement, all of a sudden I've got a C arpeggio, right? And then the whole thing up a tone, and you're on to D, and that's a short, snappy, sharp guitar solo. Great in these kind of songs. I think one of my favourites is Alice Cooper, Poison. I mean, the solo's so short. Yeah. It's a few notes, isn't it? Yeah. But
well placed notes.
Well placed. Yeah. So it's thinking about the chords you're playing over, not just tearing around on an E minor pentatonic.
Yeah, and I think another thing that's really iconic of Zakk's solo writing, what you've done in this one, is be strategic about when the fireworks happen. Yeah. So that everything's building up to that ascending pick lick, right? That's the high point chord progression-wise. We get to the C to the D bit. Yeah. It's getting that lift. Now, if you've already played your most exciting thing prior to that harmonic lift, you've kind of ruined the game. Yeah. But if you go, I know when the harmonic lift is in the chord progression, and often it's at the end. So make sure you save your best thing for that final statement. That's your sign-off. So what we don't want to do is play something really exciting early on and have nothing that matches that later on in the solo, because basically everything becomes a disappointment after that moment. So you've got to save that high point, and as the chords are building at the end line, going to those eighth notes and driving it, and all the fires going on here, everything reaches that high point.
Down into a breakdown. Yeah. Basically, it's the same idea, but dynamically it's just opening the muting very slightly to, it's a signal, isn't it? It's like, here it comes, we're back again.
Back to that. Yeah, and during that, bass-wise, I took a very similar approach to the intro. It's a couple of cycles round. I deliberately play nothing for the first one again. And when I come in, it's going to that E note, but I go up the octave again. Yeah. So again, I'm there, I'm offering that support and awareness of we're doing a slight build, but I want to save that kind of welly into that final chorus for the final moments of that phrase. So I do it subtly there until we get to the last cycle.
Yeah, then we're back in.
Then we feel like we're going somewhere. So playing less again, think about your attack on the notes, use those upper octaves so it's a theme that's familiar. It kind of, the continuity is there, but we need to save those low notes and all the attack for the right moments. So don't play heavy all the time. Then at the end of our chorus, almost the same as the regular chorus, but we play the C to D twice. Now, I could have just repeated my C to D, but what I chose to do, this is where it gets interesting, and this is the power of the bass player, so explore this concept as much as you can. We're playing C to D, so I'm following the roots initially, but I'm very aware that this is the final statement of the track, okay? So instead of going back down to C, and I want to keep that lift going, I move up next to an E note as Pat plays a C. So don't go C. Now what's happening here, Pat's playing a power chord, so that's got C and G. I'm playing an E which is the third of that chord. So between us, we're playing a major triad. So that makes harmonic sense. Then you go to a D, and I move up to F sharp. It's the same trick. I'm playing the major third of the next chord up the neck. So now my bass line, starting from the root, C, D, moving into the third of C, third of the D. Then we go to the A. Into our E.
Back to the E. Harmony can come from underneath. You know,
Absolutely.
it's not
The bass
just something
changes everything, yeah.
on top, like you see on a music stage.
Yeah.
Perhaps that low note is also created.
Now rhythmically, dynamically, harmonically, the bass player can shift so many things that you've got the power in your hands to do these things.
Yeah.
And you really notice this in the track when there's no bass to when it comes up the octave to when it goes down the octave. It completely shifts the dynamic landscape. Harmonically, we can do the same. So if you think about your options as a bass player, rather than just always following the root, always following what the guitar is doing at all times, you can change the listener's experience dramatically, or what the band choose to do next. Because if I'm doing that build, then we know it's got to be a conclusion. Your band are going to ride that, follow that dynamic, that excitement, and then come into this crashing final chord. If I just do this, go repeat that again.
Yeah. That is pretty mundane.
All that energy falls out of it. 2, 3, 4.
So I guess in summary, when you're thinking about Zakk, the guitar player, think about the atypical things. I mean, it's a guitar, millions of people play them, but it's the attitude and the personality and 2 or 3 little things that you do which give you your own sound and your own identifiable motifs.
And when you play bass, think about how much power have you got dynamically, harmonically, the works, rhythmically.
Work together, compose together. I think that's the thing, because it's very easy to sit with the laptop now and just kind of go, well, that'll do, let's get
Punch
to the
it
guitar
in,
part.
cut paste.
But actually, try going backwards. Try recording from the guitar and then putting the bass down. Yeah.
But always know what your chords are.
Always know what your chords are. Develop your ideas, have fun, and we'll see you again.
Practice those squealies.